Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Are you sometimes thinking that what you are thinking is actually not of your own thinking? I know it's confusing what I just said, but what I would like to express is, are you sometimes wondering why you are having certain thoughts? Where are they coming from? Because they feel almost as if they are not your own thoughts, as if something or someone is projecting a thought form or a wave of information straight into your mind, you're receiving it and claiming that this is what you are thinking. And then you catch yourself that a lot of people are actually thinking the same thing. I came across the video today that I would like to show you. This video is so-called from the archives, 13 years old, I believe. It's a report done by one TV station, local TV station in the United States, showing the residents that have been having very, very weird experiences, thinking that something is monitoring them, controlling them, and projecting thoughts into their minds that are not of their own choice. Which I don't think we should be surprised anymore, because what kind of warfare we are experiencing, a lot of you know, and this is also including the weather and other things as well. We will also look into the story from Israel, because I think it's a good segue from that report from 13 years ago. Very disturbing information that I was not aware of, but this is again about a year old, and I'm sure is still going on. And then last but definitely not least, we're going to look into, again connected to Israel, a great commercial that got a lot of backlash, and this is done by the actress Gwyneth Paltrow. I was never a fan of her movies, not fan of her acting, never really cared for her much. And so she did something that is connected to Israel. I'm gonna play some videos with her as well, again, so from the archives 6 years ago. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you do today, before you leave, make sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Before we start, as always, huge thank you to everyone who is supporting me on Patreon and Locals. I apologize, I have not been too active lately, but I will bring some new videos and some exclusive videos for you there. And thank you to GN who donated on PayPal. All right, so without any further ado, let's take a listen to the story that is about something doing something to our minds and projecting thoughts, information that are not really ours.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR 6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain?
It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
But mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond is describing is called gang stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
Bob Stansfield says his experience was similar and started a decade ago.
They were active in following me around here. And I started hearing the voices a little bit after the vehicular stalking.
Randall Ringer says the voices started when he was undergoing chemotherapy.
The first thing that was said was Randall Ringer. And I sat up straight and I went into the bathroom, and I looked in the mirror, looked myself in the eyes, and I said, did that really happen?
Bond says he's found more than 300 victims locally and is tracking others across the state through billboards. In Johnson Valley, a Freedom House just opened to help people who believe they are being targeted.
To many of you who find yourselves the object of covert harassment, that there is hope and that you are not alone, and that we are striving to find legislation and we're working towards freedom for all.
Jarek Robinson leads a national group called Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. He says he knows who's playing mind games.
Rogue government officials that are sponsoring this, also corrupt business officials, and private citizens.
And he also told us how.
Most of it is delivered by microwave, and I believe it's satellite delivered, whether someone is on a remote location using a laptop or next door using the desktop.
Bond says neurotransmitter chips that run off body electricity have been inserted into some people.
And they assign cell phone numbers to them. The cell phone numbers are then run through a computer, and a computer translates your thoughts. This crime has been available to the military for 60 years.
We sat down with local psychiatrist Dr. Alan Drucker to get his professional opinion.
There's no scientific evidence and there's no objective evidence to show that what they believe to be happening is factually true.
So what does the doctor believe is behind these voices?
Information that I found on many of these websites really confirms or is consistent with what I see in delusional disorders.
But these men disagree.
I've been to a psychiatrist and they gave me anti-schizophrenia medication and it did absolutely nothing whatsoever.
However, Dr. Drucker says delusional disorder has no real medical treatment and is believed to start because of disrupted dopamine pathways in the brain.
These pathways then start to fire or get triggered in the absence of actual stimulation of a person actually speaking or the radio being on, etc.
Dr. Drucker says dopamine can be disrupted for a variety of reasons: a genetic predisposition, illicit drugs, and even chemotherapy. These men have their own theories why they're being harassed.
I think that I was targeted because I'm gay.
I reported someone for selling what I thought they were selling drugs, and they were.
Nationwide, this crime is committed about 60% against white women ages from 30 to 38. But in Palm Springs, it's almost 98% gay men.
But it does tend to occur more in populations of individuals who are marginalized or in some way stigmatized in society.
But these men disagree and say police and the psychiatric community need to take them seriously.
When I worked for the government, I heard a lot of people coming in saying, I'm hearing voices through my tooth. Now I look back and I think, are they like I am now and I just didn't pay attention?
For them, the voices are a waking nightmare.
And Kevin Bond told me they're working on a book project about electronic harassment and pitching the idea to DreamWorks.
Hundreds of people in the valley.
So some of you might think this is crazy, but I actually don't. This was legit local news from California. And in my opinion, they were literally testing people, testing the residents of California. And I don't know how they chose the demographics, who was the victim, but imagine now those data centers, for example. Not to say the certain towers with the 5G on it. Now it's much more than 5G, right? It's a much higher number. So this is not just controlling through the waves. I think the same what happens to the mind is when they fight people with the weather modifications. and controlling the weather, because they are also disturbing a natural rhythm and natural energy, let's put this way. I don't know how to frame it with words, but this is nothing new in my opinion. And I think for all of us to consider how we use the media, the social media, the internet and all of it, because it's coming from everywhere pretty much. So we have to be very, very selective and very careful where we are, where we give our attention, what we choose to watch, and who we engage in conversations with. This is crazy stuff, guys, but it's happening. This, in my opinion, is absolutely legit story. And now I think it's on a massive scale worldwide. So on that note, let me show you an article, and this is about Israel and what kind of weapon they were using. We find it right here. Actually, this is from 21 hours ago, but to be honest, I look it up. This is about 1 year old story, so I'm sure it's still going on. Israeli drones in South Lebanon, well, this is in Lebanon, but this was done in Gaza already a year ago, using sound of crying children to lure out civilians. So here we go. Let's read this. Israeli forces have expanded their psychological warfare tactics in southern Lebanon, deploying quadopter, I think that's how you say it, drones to weaponize the sound of crying children and pleading women. First respondents and residents remaining in frontline villages like Habush report that these low-flying drones broadcast looped audio recordings of sirens, the Quran, or civilians begging for help and the dead of night. Speaking to Middle East Eye, this is the platform, the portal, local paramedic, I'm sorry guys, I need to check my glasses. Local paramedic Hashem exposed the insidious strategy, explaining that the military uses these horrific distress sounds to exploit basic human empathy and lure residents out of their homes into the open to be identified or targeted. The psychological battlefield also extends to highly personalized intimidation campaigns aimed at breaking local solidarity and forcing total displacement. So that's what they are using. I mean, I have to say that the type of weapons they are using, I think a lot of us are not even aware of. But we can feel that something is off, especially during the last winter. I know something was really intense with the way how they were manipulating the weather. And that was affecting not just your physical health, and I hardly ever get sick, but I was constantly getting sick, but also your mental state. I would like to know how you have experienced anything like that. If you have experienced anything like that, how was it for you? Because I'm sure this is worldwide phenomena. Now let's look into this woman, Gwyneth Paltrow, okay, and her project with Israel. First, we're gonna look into the story, and that is she showed up in a campaign, commercial campaign, that is advertising a luxury properties in Israel. And this video will explain to you what area of Israel. She got a huge backlash after it. If you go on her Instagram, you can see people absolutely criticizing her for doing that. And then we're gonna play a video with her from 6 years ago, how she's talking about Israel and her rabbi, because she has one as well. So let's take a look.
Gwyneth Paltrow has gone viral as the face of an Israeli real estate project.
There's a reason the world's most iconic buildings are by a park. 51 Park.
New York?
Herzliya.
Israel. Paltrow's appearance in the ad, which was filmed in the US in New York City, is sparking outrage on social media. The agency that worked on the campaign says it aims to show the future of luxury living in Herzliya. Just an hour south of this project, Israel is continuing its genocidal war on Gaza. The two 51-story towers overlooking Herzliya Park are being built by Aviv Malazrin, an Israeli real estate group that also operates a shopping mall in an illegal settlement in occupied East Jerusalem. Herzliya, which is named after the father of Zionism, Theodor Herzl, was founded by Zionist settlers in the 1920s. Funded by American Zionist donations, they gradually pushed Palestinian villagers out of Ijlil and al-Haram. The overseas marketing of real estate in Israel, including on land appropriated from Palestinians, is not new. In fact, there are frequent Israeli real estate events in New York City and frequent protests against them. And in London, another such event is scheduled for June 14 to market buildings in illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank alongside buildings in Israeli cities. Meanwhile, Israeli settlers are attacking Palestinians in the occupied West Bank, driving them out of their homes and villages, while Israeli politicians expand settlements. In just the most recent announcement, the government said it would build over 2,000 homes for settlers in the occupied West Bank. Amidst all this, many online users are criticizing what they call Paltrow's tone-deaf appearance in an ad intended to promote Israel's image abroad.
So that's what she promotes. Now let's take a listen to what she said 6 years ago. But I'm not sure how many times she actually visited Israel after that. Let's take a listen.
Gdy natura rozkwita w twoim sercu,
Well, I've actually never been to Jerusalem. I've never been to Israel.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Oh.
So I've never been invited.
Oh.
But actually, it's somewhere that I have been wanting to go for many years. My brother's there now, actually, working. And you know, I think one of the reasons that I've always really wanted to go to Jerusalem specifically, one of the rabbis that I studied with, a Kabbalist rabbi that I studied with in London a number of years ago, he said that Jerusalem is the energetic center of the world.
Oh.
And that he said that if a good deed is done in Israel, then its power is amplified across the world more than if a good deed is done anywhere else.
Oh my goodness.
So, is that true?
You know, I have to say, you know, when we created JVP, there was so much violence, there was so much hatred, there was so much conflict. And I think that we managed through this concept of innovation and working together. Actually, the arts, we have a great performing arts center there as well. When you do something good in Jerusalem, it has an effect all over the world. And
that's what I was taught.
Yes, yes. So, you know what is, for thousands of years, we've been reading the Haggadah and Passover. And you know what the last sentence of the Haggadah is? Maybe we can say it together. English. Next year in Jerusalem. But let's try it in Hebrew.
Oh, God. You're really dusting off my Hebrew.
Leshana.
Leshana.
Haba'a. B'Yerushalayim. You got a date. This is an official invitation.
Yay, I'm coming. I'm coming.
So let me actually, 1 second. Okay, so imagine if one good deed is done there, it spreads all around the world. So if just one bad deed, bad action is done there, what happens? Just one. So you might ask yourself, looking at her, is this acting or this is MK Ultra effect? I actually think there is more MK Ultra in most of those actors. I think most of those people in Hollywood are absolutely under the mind control. Maybe they have certain devices at their homes that are doing those kind of things, like in that report from 13 years ago. So a lot of them might not even need any handlers. Some of them probably do. Well, she was studied with some rabbi in London. I think it was in the time when she was married to, what's his name, from Coldplay. Unbelievable, right? You know, the more you look at it, and I had this for the last 2 days, I didn't record the video because, you know, when you go on any social media, and I'm trying to really focus on beauty lately, I'm trying to look at beautiful destinations, architecture, flowers, cuisine, fashion, style. And I intentionally hit likes on those because I know the more I like those, the more Instagram will recommend those to me. But somehow, even though I do it, and I do have much more recommendations for the beauty nowadays, for my own sake, I still have those posts, suggestions about the evil things that are happening. And I didn't know about it if I wouldn't been presented this as far as the algorithm goes. But of course, everyone is talking about it, what took place in Ireland and Belfast. So you cannot avoid almost seeing things like this. And I don't want to go into details. Many of you know what's happening there, what took place there. I just wonder if this was always going on. We were on a different scale, but we were not as exposed to it as we are now. And now we are absolutely facing it on pretty much daily basis. So in a way, more of it is happening. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just research Belfast, Ireland, what took place. So the question is it more of it happening, which I think, of course, it is, but there is also much more exposure to it. So the information goes very quickly out in the world. More people see it and more people are affected by it. So now the question is, you know, to have an awareness and to be against it is one thing, but how much we can handle as a human being of this kind of information for our own health and energy. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your comments and your opinion. What do you think about all of it? Let me know. And let's keep in mind those data centers, like I had commented in the beginning of this video, because imagine how they can also send out, besides the aspect of the sound that is very disturbing to any life force, but they can also project, I believe, thought forms that can go into people's consciousness, people's mind. You're not even mentioning the chips into the brain that Elon Musk wants to do, the Neuralink, right? And all those things. All the crazy times we are living in, aren't we? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the thumbs up if you appreciate the video. All the links will be down below in the description box. If you choose to support me, the links are down as well. Lots of love, and remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.